Before I get into my commentary, I just wanted to give you guys a big shout out. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for continuing to come back daily. Thank you so much for believing in me. As a new content creator, it is rough. There is no manuscript, so it's learning through trial and error, but I am working to get better. But I just wanted to give you guys a big shout out. You guys have really made my day. Thank you so much for the loving comments and support. You guys are amazing. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. So initially, I really thought after they announced that they knew who the alleged killer was, I thought it would be a quick open and shut case. I know they had to go through, a little paperwork to actually be able to arrest the subject. But, after that was said, I stayed on it. But now, you guys, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to think. And it's just so ironic because, and shout out to my subscriber, you know who you are. I had a subscriber and she kind of touched on it as well. She was like, oh, what if the dad, caught her in the room with him, And I was like, well, yeah, I know a parent could definitely get upset. They can go off the deep end. Trust me, I'm a parent. I know I would have. But as a parent, I also know how to act responsibly. And I just was like, not hoping that this was the case, which unfortunately, this type of thing does happen. Parents do end up killing their kids. But just in this case, I didn't really look at it too much from that standpoint. But now, based on this new information that has surfaced, and it's all alleged, it really, really, put my mind into a headspin. And now I'm really seeing it for, well, wow, it might possibly be that, But without further ado, I'm going to get into the letters. And you guys can draw your own opinion from it. But to me, it really... Okay, I'll let you see what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. So one of Devin's friends took it upon themselves to write a letter to Sheriff Blackwood. And when I say this letter really had me flipping, this letter was deep, you guys. And it really sent me down the rabbit hole. And now I'm really starting to think that something else may have happened to these kids. And once I read this letter, you guys could come to your own conclusions. But just let me know how you guys feel. Just listen to the letter, soak it in. If you have to pause the screen to read it yourself, you can definitely do that. But I'm going to go ahead and read the letter to you guys. But just let it sizzle in your spirit. Just listen to this letter. Like, it really, really got me like, wow. Like, I'm just so open. And it's just so weird that my subscriber just said this. And I was like, no, it's not that. They know who it is. And then I see this letter. And now I'm like confused. I'm confused right now. But without further ado, let me get into this letter. Sheriff Blackwood, and shout out to the kid who wrote this. Shout out to you for standing up and making yourself known. Shout out to you. Sheriff Blackwood, I am 16 years old and I personally knew Devin Clark. I am writing to you because Devin's case does not sit right with me and we need answers. My community is not stupid and we know the story is not adding up. At some point, you're going to have to come face to face with this horrible situation and stop running from the obvious problems in our community. You are an elected official, and we elected you in hopes of bringing peace and justice in our community. Right now, you are not doing that. You are leaving us all hanging and questioning why we decided to give you the power. We understand that this is an ongoing investigation, and there are some things that you cannot disclose with us right now. With that being said, the least you can do is address us and assure us that a deeper investigation is being done. You haven't. Like I said, I am not stupid, and neither is my community. I know those bodies were moved. Wow. this gets deep. I know those bodies were moved. I have physically went to the site that the man on the 911 call said the bodies were disclosed. So this is a continuation from the first page. And basically it was saying that the bodies were found at least 1 mile from the gravel road that's away from Lyric's home. So the bodies were found at least 1 mile away from Lyric's home. Okay. I have also talked to close friends of Lyric, and every single one of them have expressed that Lyric's stepfather did not have a good relationship with Lyric. I do not care what her family said during questioning. Most kids nowadays are more trusting or feel like they can be more honest with their friends. We as friends know a lot more than you think we do. Like I said, this story you are working on is not it. There is obviously some covering up being done, and any person can walk out there to the spot that they were allegedly found, and that right there proves to me that they were not killed there. Anyone in their right mind knows that if there's an ongoing investigation, the spot will be caution taped off and not open to the public due to the tampering of some crime scene law. It is also very obvious to me, because I visited the memorial spot the day after it was set up, there was absolutely no evidence that they were killed there. No smell, no flies, no clumped up dirt, no deer corn, no down grass, nothing. You can sit there all day and tell me that law enforcement cleaned it up already, but if that was the case, I would have seen a patch of dirt that looked like it had been scraped up or grass that had been pulled up. The day I went out there from the day they went missing, it had not rained one bit, so I know the blood didn't get washed away. I also know that Devin Clark was not a thug, so the fact that you can sit in your office and let those speculations keep running wild is mind-boggling to me. You haven't assured the community of anything. You know as good as anyone that you cannot run forever. We have too many people on our side, and the truth will come out. Like I said before, some deeper investigation needs to be done on a higher level. We will expose the imposters. Wow. I got to give it to this child. They got their point across.
We begin with the continued search for answers in the murders of two teenagers, a suspect still at large. Good evening, I'm Julie Luck.
And I'm Chad Silber. 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark were found dead in Orange County last month. Clark went to Eastern Alamance High School. Investigators aren't saying anything about the 17-year-old suspect at this point. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland went digging for answers.
I went by the Orange County Sheriff's Office this afternoon. I was told there are no updates in the search for that murder suspect. You'll remember Devin Clark was a senior at Eastern Alamance High School. Lyric Woods went to Cedar Ridge High. Both were laid to rest last week. Mourners placed memorial crosses in the Orange County field where their bodies were found. Corey Greenwood and her family are among those who are still showing up to pay respects.
I have a 13-year-old daughter that went to school with Lyric when she was in the middle school and the elementary school. And I work with the aunt of Devin and just felt like being a parent that has lost a child, I needed to come out. It's gut-wrenching. Like that's holding back tears. It's awful to think that they had to go through something like this so young, so it's just very unfair and very sad.
North Carolina law is very strict about releasing information on suspects under 18 years old. The sheriff asked for patience in a statement last week saying, quote, "We cannot afford a misstep this close to the goal line."
So after reading this letter, you guys can kind of understand how I was like on the fence about everything. I'm like, well, maybe that could have happened. I hope it didn't, but you never know. But some other things that I did get from this letter, which I found very interesting, and I didn't think of it before. I don't think the kids were killed at that crime scene. I don't think they were killed at, let me rephrase that. I don't think that they were killed at the location where their bodies were found. I don't think so. And the kid made a valid point in this letter, like there was no evidence. There was no blood, there was no flies, there was nothing on the ground that indicated that two bodies were laying there for over a day and something. I mean, you can clearly see. And, I didn't think about that initially. And this letter brought that to my attention. And I really believe that. Like, that is, I don't know necessarily if Lyric's stepdad is the culprit, allegedly, but I really do believe that it didn't take place at that location. I believe that the kids were murdered at another location and they were just dumped there. And I mean, you could look at the ground and see. I mean, you don't have to be a CSI agent to look and see. Well, no blood on the ground, no nothing, like no shoveling up the dirt as if they were like covering up the blood or whatever that was there. I mean, come on, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So that part really stuck out to me, and I really do believe that. I really do believe that that was not the initial crime scene. So in the comments, you guys let me know what you think about that part. Breaking news. 17-year-old suspect in murder of Lyric Woods and Devin Clark is now in custody. After more than 2 weeks of investigating, a person is now in custody in the connection of the murder of two North Carolina high school students. Lyric Woods, age 14, and Devin Clark, age 18, were found dead on an Orange County trail on September 18th. The two young people had been missing for more than a day when their bodies were found by some people riding ATVs. Just before 3 p.m. on October 5th, Orange County Sheriff's Office announced that a juvenile had been brought into custody in the case. We hope this apprehension provides some relief to the family and friends of Devin and Lyric, who have experienced excruciating loss. Obviously, the capture of the suspect does not restore their loved one to them. The grieving process is a long one, and we hope the community will continue to support them in their pain. The juvenile in custody has not been identified or yet charged as an adult. Since December 2019, a 16 or 17-year-old who commits crimes in North Carolina are not automatically charged as adults. However, with probable cause, a judge has the ability to transfer the case into the adult justice system. We understand our community is hungry for information to help process this tragedy. However, the laws regarding juvenile confidentiality are ironclad. We have no ability to set them aside, even given the heightened interest in the case, Blackwood said. ABC 11 spoke with NCCU law professor Irving Jerner, who says he doubts the case will remain in juvenile court due to the severity of the offense. Here, you're talking about 2 counts of first-degree murder, and it is very unusual and very rare that a case of this magnitude stays in juvenile court. It is a very serious accusation, very serious prosecution, so both sides of the comb will want to ensure that all the legal steps are properly navigated through. Such the rights of the suspects are protected, as well as the work of the law enforcement in gathering this information that will then eventually be used to prosecute at trial. So you can't rush it, he continued. In a previous update, Orange County Sheriff's Office said the 17-year-old suspect was being sought on 2 counts of first-degree murder in the death of Woods and Clark. Woods was a freshman at Cedar Ridge High School. Clark was a senior at Eastern Almanez High School. Their friends and families held visuals and memorials for both of them in the days following their death. I am so happy that the alleged suspect is now in custody. I know this will not bring back Lyric and Devin, unfortunately, but now their family can have a sense of relief knowing that this alleged suspect is no longer roaming free. They're not on the streets roaming and doing whatever they want to do. And also, hopefully for the kids, they can feel a sense of, they can feel like they're safe again. They don't have to be afraid to go out, not knowing who not to trust because they don't know who the suspect is. So I'm praying for closure for the whole community. I know it's not going to bring them back, but, maybe they can begin their healing process. I'm going to send them lots of love and light. I will continue to follow the story until, they go to court, until the trial is over with, and until the alleged murderer is sentenced. I know that their family is also dealing with this, which I'm going to send prayers to the alleged suspect's family as well, because now they have to endure this all because of the actions of their child. So that's something that no parent should have to experience on both sides. But, so my heart goes out to them. May Lyric and Devin get the justice that they deserve. I'm going to follow the story to the very end. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave your comments down below.